Hi, this is Christian Baker from christianbaker.net and the Achieve podcast. For this episode, I have the pleasure in bringing you Frederique Murphy to share with us all about her fantastic new book. So Frederique, welcome to the Achieve podcast. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Christian. I am so delighted to be here, and I'm so delighted to see you and connect with all of our listeners and our viewers. Thank you so much for having me.
You're absolutely welcome. It's my pleasure, and it's good to see you after all these years.
I know, yeah, we were saying, so we go back 10 years. So
10 plus, yes. It's been a while, hasn't it?
Been a while.
and lots have changed in that time, which brings me on to ask you about your new book, which we can see in the background, Lead Beyond the Edge. So
I just received my copies and I thought, for Christian's audience, I have them so that they can see. It's kind of new to me as well. It's like, yes, here it is.
I can see the excitement in you, and it's fantastic to see
you remember me. It's like, look, my face is as excited, as red as my book is.
I've got Frederique, congratulations on the book, first of all, because I know it's not an easy task to get a book written and published. Like you, it's been on my to-do list for many years and I haven't got around to doing mine yet. So huge congratulations to you for doing that. Let's start off with the book then. Firstly, what's the book about? Who's it for? And where was the idea born?
Well, wow. Yes, that's a great place to start. And I want to be very candid and, as usual, very real. So, as our listeners and viewers are listening or, viewing this, I like to say, like you said, it's on your to-do list for a while. This book has been in my mind for 20 years.
Wow.
And the only reasons it hadn't happened yet is because I hadn't decided and committed. And then, lo and behold, March 2020, something happened. And I know, we all know what I'm mentioning. And then the excuse I had used for a while of, I can't write a book. I'm on stage. I don't have the time, because my primary revenue then was a keynote speaker. So, stage all around the world and the travel and clients were asking, we wish we could bottle you up. Like, do you have a book? And I always kind of put it aside, and I did. And it was every time a conscious decision till, as I said, March 2020, the world shifted, isn't it? I think, we can say it like this. And then I thought, that's it. It was incredible. And I'm sure, many of you can nod along and say, yeah, that happened to me as well. Within 10 days, losing all of the project, all of the speaking engagement, everything canceled. And, for me, like I said, what you see is what you get. And I just don't teach a maintain moving mindset. I live it. I believe in it. And I just thought, let's do it. March 2020, signed the deal with the publishing company, and March 2021, hitting the shelves on March 30th. So a year of a journey. And the book is called Lead Beyond the Edge. And the first thing that I know everyone is asking about is, what is the edge? Correct? It's like, curious. So the edge, because I think that's a great place for us to start, is that we all have a comfort zone. And this is not new. We all have it. So Christian, you have one. I have one. All of you listening and viewing, you have one. And I like you to imagine it. And I know some of you suddenly, you're like, I'm told to forget about the box. And so some school of thoughts tell you to forget about the box, but that's not how our brain works. So I very much actually would like you to imagine one around you, and I'll have you box you in. So 4 walls around you. And your comfort zone, it's exactly like it says on the tin. It's comfy, it's safe, it's relaxed. And inside your box, you have everything that you've ever wanted to be and you already are, you've ever wanted to have and you already have, and you want everything that you've ever wanted to do and that you've already done. It's all of those accomplishments, they are with you in the box. And what happens is, beyond the box is where our greatest and newest accomplishments and goals and aspirations are. So in the box, you can imagine when you're like looking, like a kid looking at a candy shop, and like they put their face on the window and they're like looking, and they see all of the candy and it looks so good. This is what happens when we are in our box and we look beyond and we see everything that we want to be, but we still have not done yet, everything that we want to have, but not yet, and everything that we want to do. But then the brain comes in. So everything I do is inspiring and equipping you to use the power of your mind to rewire your brain. And what happens is, let's say it exactly like it is. As soon as you start exiting your box, your brain panics, total panics. It's like, ah, and it just does a lot of things to which the book explains. And because most of our reaction, like instant reaction, is just to fall back, because a lot of things happen and it's just scary and we're scared and it just makes it difficult. Then Lead Beyond the Edge was born. I thought, what if I could put together a solution to enable my readers to have a two-part solution to lead beyond the edge, so that anything that you want to do, anytime, anywhere, you know how to do it, because nothing ever stops you in your tracks. And I thought, let's do a book. Two parts. So the coin, it's like a coin, so two sides. So on one, we are really leveraging the power of your brain, specifically neuroplasticity. Now, I know it sounds like a big word, but as you already know, because you can see or you can hear me, definitely the way I approach neuroscience is not from an academic point of view. I am very experiential in my approach. And yes, the book is underpinned by neuroscience, because neuroplasticity is your incredible ability to rewire your brain, to change, reshape your brain. And we can do this at any time. And I thought, whoa, hang on a minute, this is amazing to just have this ability of ours that, we don't always use to our maximum. So let's take that ability. And then on the other side, help, guide. So the book, I actually, at the back of the cover, it says, me as your guide, guiding you for self-directed neuroplasticity, where I am giving you the tools that you need to have your brain work with you and lead to where you want to go. So I then sat down and listed all of the challenges, all that could come up from when we think of a goal. So at the very, very beginning, when we think of a goal, so we are here and we go, I want to do it, eat whatever. You have something that come into your mind, our listeners, viewers, they have something that came up. And then what happens is, from that, I want to do it, what happens along the way to reach, woohoo, I did it. There's a lot of things that happens and a lot of challenges that happens, but actually there's a structure. So then I created a framework, 12-step framework that, honestly, I've put my heart and my brain in it. And that's why I say anything, anytime, anywhere. The Lead Beyond the Edge framework helps you with any single challenges that could come up. You could open the book and go, okay, overwhelmed. Here's a strategy. Let's go do it. Da-da-da, done. I'm continuing. Everything is so that we continue doing, we are mindfully in the I am doing it flow, because this is the link between I want to do it and I did it, is to have you move along the journey. So answering, all of this. Oh, you also ask who. Okay, so here is a.
I did ask you about 3 questions in one, Frederique, so you're doing really well.
I know. So who is interesting, because I love to say it's for anyone with a brain, but not everybody. Here's what I mean. Some people are very happy and content in their box, so they're not going to feel the need to understand what's going on in their brain. Why does the brain panic, and why all of this happens? So because they are not pushing through the edge. So it's for anyone with a brain and anybody who wants to understand why sometimes they stop themselves in their tracks.
So someone who might feel frustrated, stuck, kind of overwhelmed, or not live into their full potential.
Yes. So how did I do to your 3 questions? Because now I want to stop talking. And does that make sense?
It did. So really what you're saying is, to give a bit of context, you've been working as a kind of leadership and strategy kind of mindset expert for years. So this is you condensing all of your kind of life's work in this area into a framework that people can pick up and help themselves if they're in a place where they're stuck or they want to push through that comfort zone, the box, the edge. Is that what we're saying?
It is exactly what I'm saying. I remember how I said, the book has been in the making for 20 years, and this is what I mean. It's not that I was writing it for 20 years and stopping and starting. No. It is that I have poured 20 years in business, in science. So I use 3 sciences: neuroscience, positive psychology, which is not going to come as a surprise to anyone. I live and breathe positive psychology. I use it in everything that I do, particularly in my delivery, and behavior change. And I've created this system because over the years, so I'm in business this year, it's my 13th year, but I've been a change management consultant for 20. Okay. So I have seen how people react to change, and I was right there in the field to help and going, hang on a minute, why are people resisting? Okay, that's why they are resisting. Let's understand the science, and then let's open it to people so that people really understand. I'm just so passionate about helping people understand, because knowledge is power. As soon as they understand, because it makes, even now, our listeners and viewers, they probably already, a lot of things has made sense already, because they're kind of thinking, oh, that's exactly what happens. I'm approaching my box, and then something happened, the brain gets flooded, and they may not have known that yet, but they know exactly what it meant to them. They just fell back into the box. Yeah. So exactly pouring everything into a condensed, I love how you said it's not too long. It has a lot of the typesetting was a really interesting thing to work on it. I really didn't want it to be standard, so it's not just text, and the framework is very visual. My table of content is not a table of content.
I did have a sneak peek of your digital one. I haven't got my hard copy yet, but I did have a sneak peek, and it did look different. In a good way.
Innovative. It's I've had an illustrator work with me on my sketches of the famous framework, so everyone was like, ooh, what does it look like? I can give a tease. It's based on a triangle, which is definitely a blink of an eye to the name of the company, Maintain Moving Mindset. Everything is in kind of triangle. And it's because the triangle was perfect to fit in 12 steps. Right. So that's why, so there's loads of action. It's not just a read. As I said, I wanted it to be very experiential. There is, I'm using a multi-sensory approach. So with reading, we only use 1 and 2 senses, but we learn better when we maximize our senses. So I have added all of the other senses with visualization tracks, which I know you're using as well. So there's olfactory, there's an entire chapter explaining the power of our olfactory sense, which is really strong, because it's a book to do. It's like you said, it's to achieve. That's why we're here. It's the Achieve podcast, and this book is a great fit to do that.
It sounds like you've got every angle covered, which is fantastic. Now, to give a bit of context, I know you work a lot in leadership and in the corporate world, but as you mentioned earlier, it's not just for people in leadership in that world. It's for anybody who wants to make a change or feels as if they want to move beyond their edge.
I use the word lead very purposely, but definitely not to deter anyone who, because actually here is the clue of who would be attracted to lead without maybe having leader as part of their business cards, because it's so much bigger than that.
Yeah.
We have to lead ourselves. Leadership really comes from within, and that self-leadership of leading ourselves to where we want to go, it's really important for us to achieve anything. That's why I said, no, I want the first word of my book title to be lead. And like we've had, I mean, primarily, obviously, employees in the, like my clients, I work for large global companies and organizations, associations. They, like most of them are in the corporate world. Also, I also have an affinity being an entrepreneur myself. I have entrepreneurs and solopreneurs, and but I have parents, parents have started to read it and they just went, this is really useful because I understand what my brain, now I understand what my kids' brains are happening, which I think, back to that knowledge is power. It's how much we can learn to just to achieve, because then it's anyone. And so for me, that was such an honor, actually, just a few days ago, receiving a text saying I actually gifted my copy to my 16-year-old teenager. And I just, I thought, like, great, because it's never too late for us, which is, could be a myth as well, that some of you may have thought, oh, am I too old? Can my brain be rewired? Yes, so this was a myth that we thought neuroplasticity, once you reach adults, then, we could not do anything anymore, but so not true. So thank goodness we've shattered that myth. So yes, but then, if you want your 16-year-olds to start, they absolutely could, because while every strategy is backed up by science, there isn't, it's not so much academic that you get lost and you're like, oh, I don't understand at all. I mean, do you see, this is my friend Nuri. So obviously Nuri is an enlarged version of a neuron, and neurons are like in our brain, and actually other parts of our brain, but in our brain, those nerve cells, the latest estimate, most accurate, that could be proven is that now this is a cool number. So are you ready to, you may know it already, but for our listeners and viewers, kind of imagine how many of Nuri do you have in your head? 86 billion.
It's quite a few.
That's 86 billion. Yeah. I mean, this is just for anyone who were kind of thinking, my brain too? Yes, your brain too. 86 billion. I mean, we can't even comprehend. By the time neurons start communicating to each other, they create the path, which is why path is part of the subtitle, because all of those paths, we actually say that, there's more path in your brain than there are stars in the Milky Way. This just to show you that the immense power that we have and how we can use it to do things.
It's phenomenal to even comprehend a number that size, isn't
it? I know, we can't even, I mean, like I say sometimes, yes, we can give the number, but I think it's hard to comprehend. And, it gets harder, because I love to just, I have to do it on my face so we can see it. But you see those little stringy, we call them the stringy bits. Now, those are the connections. So imagine one neuron and then another neuron, and then they connect via those little tiny things. Here we go. You said it was hard to comprehend 86 billion. Let's just brain blow all of our listeners and viewers. Per neuron, they have 7,000 of those connections.
Wow.
So now the ability for us to create path goes when you can multiply 86 billion by 7,000, which of course we can't really comprehend. No. Just, I think what we have to hear is how amazing we are, and how amazing and incredible, any of our goals and aspiration are feasible, possible. And then if it's just a matter to, pick up a resource and listen to you. I mean, you do such great, I know, you do such great work. So your listeners and viewers, they already know how great and expert and skilled you are at the mind, because it's really our most incredible aptitude that we have.
Yeah. Do you find, I know for me personally, it's shifted over the years I've been working in this area, but do you still find that it's an area that is still, well, with those numbers you've just communicated, I think the answer is going to be obvious, but the mindset is still an area that's largely underutilized and undertapped?
Yeah, I just think, is it getting better? Yes. Companies are hiring and kind of thinking, but I'll dream of the day where people would start their day and they do their to-do list and they go mindset on their to-do list. Like our minds, I know sometimes mindset is can be used as such as a buzzword, and people go, it's such a big word. What does it even mean? The way I define it is that our mindset is our philosophy of life, and which means that it impacts absolutely everything that we do, and it's the results or the lack of results that we have. Everything is mindset. It's our philosophy of life. It impacts your beliefs, your attitudes, your behaviors, and really, like, when people ask, how do I achieve a goal? Like, do you have a quick way of doing it? Like a 3-step way is to have aligned that right belief with the right attitude and the right behavior, and then you achieve your goal, and you go from that I want to do it to I did it. And it was, having taken a journey through your beliefs, your attitudes, your behaviors. Like you asked, like, you said, when people maybe would get frustrated or irritated or overwhelmed. I think in those days, and what we've all been living and experiencing, something that we'd never experienced before, I found that mental health has actually, it wasn't new, but people have started talking a lot more about it, because we've all been in bubbles, and some for days and weeks and months and close to like a year, and I think we were left by ourselves, and I think suddenly it just made a lot more sense. And there's been a lot of people asking around their inner dialogue. There was always the chat. I mean, I know lots of people will nod and go, oh yeah, I heard of my saboteur before. And, I think those they've been there for a while, but I think, while it's always important, and you and I, it's what we do. So, we always do it. But I think better, like always, of course, I want people to do it always, but never more now than to really realize and have strategy going. Hang on a minute. I'm not believing anymore. This is like, and I am stuck there. Yeah. I'm hearing the chatter. The chatter is intense. What can I do because I'm stuck? It's one of the words that you use, and I think people have been feeling stuck and had to do it because yes, we are in a pandemic. I mean, I candidly share how, as a business who 80, if not 90% of revenue was keynote speaking, I'd lost it was like the worst 10 days. It was like the doom and gloom, and we could do things. We could still do things. I've actually had an incredible year, and I'm grateful every day. I operate out of a place of gratitude, and I'm happy I can serve my clients, and like you said, I think there's been more of an opening around how can we help how can I help myself, but how can I help my team? Yeah. The morale has been hard, and then boundaries. Do you find boundaries have been hard? Yeah, because everything suddenly operates out of the same place. You walk, you eat, you leave.
Yeah. Everything's just got a bit murky, hasn't it?
Yeah, and it's gotten, I mean, I like that word. It's gotten muddier and having, so something we could share that you may have shared before. I mean, I am a listener and a fan of the podcast, but haven't done all of the episodes. So I've never come across it, but I know about it, and something that our listeners and viewers could hear is that we all know we have two minds. a conscious and a subconscious one, unconscious one. And like all of you, I'm sure you're nodding along. Absolutely, we all know that. Now, here is the trick where then people go, it's 50-50. Now you've made a face. No, they are not split 50-50. So now like people, ooh, okay, Frederique, tell us. Like even now they know, ooh, Christian knew about it and he did not say. No, yeah, they are not split 50-50. Now the percentage vary, but actually the latest research is now. This is I used to say that it's brain blowing. Okay, guys, are you all ready? So here we have our conscious, and here we have our unconscious. So unconscious, 95%, conscious, 5%. Now all of you are like, hang on a minute. Oh my God, Frederique, did you say that? And Christian, you knew about it as well. Yeah. So
I think people need to hear it from different people at different times.
Like,
take it on board.
This is amazing because awareness, like I always say, if mindset had an A, it would be for awareness. For us to realize this, for us to have heard it today and maybe in a different way and kind of gone, as a reminder, going, hang on a minute, because this is what it means. It means that we can only tackle what we are aware of, which means that our goal is to always shift things to the front of your head. So imagine, how can I go to something so conscious that it's tangible and I can do something? And I think our awareness has been, it's always been important, but I think for us to work on ourselves and going, okay, because we can roll up our sleeves and do things when we are aware.
No, it's a great point, and I think it's absolutely important. It's the beginning, it's the first step. Before you can do anything, you have to be aware, don't you? Frederique, it's fascinating talking to you. We could talk, and I've got so many different questions for you, but time's rapidly going past. If somebody's listening and that's resonating, it's making sense, have you got any tangible techniques or strategies that people could utilize? So if they've got to that point where they want to push beyond their edge, I know, this book distills your kind of framework, and I'm not asking you to share all of that in the next few moments, but if you've got a couple of ideas that you could share with people today to help them get started, at least. Absolutely.
And I'd love to share everything, but as we know, we could talk for days. I'll share 3 things, then I will stay in 3. So first I'll share, and you've all heard me, so it's going to make like extra sense and kind of connecting extra dots. You want to align your beliefs, your attitudes, and your behaviors. And I'm using, so really like underline, if you're taking notes, align. This is really important, so that you want to make sure that your beliefs, your attitudes, and your behaviors are all aligned towards that it, whatever that it is. This is going to be really important, because this is goal achievement in like 3 steps, is having that belief that you can, the attitude that you can do, and the behavior that you do it. And this gives you the I can do it. Add on to this the doing it flow, and that's how you achieve your goal. So that's kind of a high level, but already getting you to think. Second, what am I going to say? Second, I want to talk about, let's give mindfulness. Okay. Let's talk about, because I've used the word mindfully a few times during this episode. This is not about hustle. This is not about not sleeping. And to prove my point, I am going to give one of the strategies from the first circuit, which is a first book part, is sleep. And people go, what? Oh, I love you, Frederique. I can sleep through my goals. Yes. Sleep is immensely important. I don't want to hear people saying it's all about the hustle, because this is not how your brain works. Your brain needs its sleep. Now, your brain just never stops, but you need to stop to sleep so that your brain can do a bunch of things. Just to give you an idea, when you sleep, your brain consolidates everything that has happened in the day. It stores and categorizes memories, for instance. So if, for instance, now you may be thinking, oh, I know I haven't been sleeping that much. And actually, now that you mention it, my memory, I've been feeling a little bit, that would be 100% due to sleep. So sleep is one of my 12 strategies.
Right.
Very important. And I know, and I'll talk, because we want to wrap it up, but I want to give like the tangible, you really want, as an adult, you want to aim 7 to 9. It's going to depend on your rhythm. There is not a magic hour. We just want 7 to 9. But naps, also think of naps. So naps are going to help you as well. We can either go the 15 minutes nap, which is going to give you some benefits, or you go for your 90 minutes nap, which then makes sure that you go through one full circle. Because one last takeaway is that, have you ever gotten to like feeling so tired that you just fell asleep and napped, and when you woke up you felt more confused, more frustrated, and thinking, where I am? Actually, it took you a few minutes to get out of it. It's because you woke up in the middle of your sleep phase. So you have to time your naps so that they are most powerful. And third thing, as I said, I would give you 3 things, is you noticing and hearing me and Christian and realizing that emotions are different from feelings. Your emotions are different from your feelings. And I know that very often people use them interchangeably. It's not the case. Your emotions are chemical. They are chemical release in your brain. Your feelings are your interpretation based on those emotions, which means that at any point in time, how you are feeling, I want you to realize that it is your responsibility of where you went. I'll give you 2 examples. Stage speaking. Lots of you have heard, and you're kind of thinking, okay, she does this for a business. This is my worst fear. I will never do this, right? A lot of us, but even like in our family or in our business, or we want to present something. So stage fear. Here's what happens. You could have 2 scenarios. You could stand in front of your stage and you're about to go, and your brain gets flooded with a series of neurochemicals. And those are the emotions of what's happening. And here are 2 very different ways to interpret the same emotion, because it's exactly the same release. You could go in your head, oh gosh, I'm about to go on stage. My hands have gotten all clammy. I am feeling my knees. The butterflies in my tummy. And my hands are so sweaty. Oh, I am nervous. Decision made. The brain now heard you, take those emotions, and you've made it nervous. Now, second scenario, exactly same release in the brain. Ooh, everything is tingling. How excited. I am so excited about to go on stage, present, connect with my audience. I feel those butterflies, but it's because I care. I am so excited. Totally different.
It's hugely important distinction, isn't it?
That was the only difference, was your interpretation. Yeah. So that was 3 tangible things.
Thank you so much. I've got so many more questions for you. Storytelling is something that you do a lot in your presentations, and you've shared with us today. How important is storytelling to helping people to make changes?
Sorry, I love storytelling. If any one of you, which could be happening, you've been in one of my rooms, you know that I use a lot of stories. I use them in a very specific way as well, because I often don't end them, which often can create some like gasp in the audience. Storytelling is super powerful for your brain. Think back onto the campfire. We are wired for stories. Stories are very important because they have the ability to shape. And then we're back to those 3 words. Stories have the ability to shape your beliefs, your attitudes, your behaviors. So you're like, hang on a minute, everything starts clicking. When we listen to a story, our brain is more active. We combined the emotional with the rational, both a part of the brain gets active, which means that we are more engaged. And an engaged brain learns better, produces better, performs better. So I use stories. So then, and then just to loop it, like you said, in the book, it wouldn't be my book if I would not use stories. So actually I did something that could be seen as quite different. Okay. I'm using a very intimate narrative because I want to be your guide. And I think there's something incredibly strong about following a guide that's been there, done that. And that framework came up out of what I needed to achieve my extraordinary. And I'm delivering it along with some very raw, very vulnerable moments in my life who have made me the woman I am today. And I use storytelling throughout the entire book.
Fantastic. Frederique, I'm immensely grateful for you to share with us some of the amazing insights from your book. I know I'm looking forward and excited to reading it. It sounds like it's going to be a great practical read that people can make use of for a long, long time to come. So if there's any positives that have come out of the pandemic in the last year, it's the fact that you've been able to actually kind of give birth to the book that's been in the making for such a long, long time. Before we do wrap up, I like to ask my guests if they have a phrase or a quote that they like to live by. Is there some message that you'd like to leave people with that you find helpful for you in your life?
From somebody else or from...
Yeah, it can be from somebody else or it can be one of your own, either or.
So I'm inspired by the amazing, obviously we have a ton of mentors, heroes. I mean, I respect and admire so many people. What came to mind when you asked was actually some of my words, because it was just to kind of tie with the philosophy of life, which is your best moments are on the other side of your fears. And I just feel they are short words, but they're just very powerful for me to align. And then if I could give, I know you ask one, but then give someone, I would, I love the path quote. And actually I'll tease it so that then actually we can put it in the note and people can go look for it, because it will engage your brain better. And remember, an engaged brain learns better, performs better, is happier. If you type Thoreau, so Henry David Thoreau, and path, you will see what this amazing man said, which is absolutely phenomenal, that now, centuries after, thanks to neuroscience and the fMRI machines, we're able to prove that his words were true. I just think I'm in awe.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. Frederique, if someone wants to find out more about you, your work and your book, where's the best place for them to come and find you?
The best place is frederiquemurphy.com. For a signed copy of the book, leadbeyondtheedge.com. It would be an honor to have some of your listeners and viewers, and for me to just personalize them for them. And social media, I'm, as I said, you can see and you can hear, even if you were listening, you could hear I had a smile on my face the whole time. I connect on social media, so LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, just would love to connect.
Fabulous. Well, I'll put all those in the show notes anyway, but if anybody's been interested in and enjoyed what Frederique shared with you today, make sure you head over to your favorite platform and find Frederique and continue to see what she's up to. Frederique, thank you once again for joining us today and sharing all those wonderful insights. And I wish you all the very best with the book.
Thank you so much for having me, Christian.
Absolute pleasure.